All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD1111 or database-driven web development class, I've decided that as a review, I'm going to create a series of video presentations based on some of the PDFs in Flavio Cope's The Valley of Code website. So I've gone out there and I have downloaded his HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and Node.js handbooks. And I'm eventually going to do the next one probably as well. And I'm going over some presentations based on what he has done. So the first one that I'm working on is the HTML one. It's 74 pages, and I'm about just a little less than halfway in. And we're talking about hyperlinks in here. Nothing new with hyperlinks. Href equals, all right? So I'm going to just grab his right here. Let me jump back into here. And again, I'm going to come in, and as we did previously, I'm going to comment out a bunch of this stuff that is in here. And I'm going to add his tag. Now, I don't like it all the way he's done this, but I'm going to put in a p tag. And I'm going to say here, go to the, change that to Flavio Cope's website. All right. So by grabbing that and putting it in there like that, now what I've got in here, whoops, let me go back to here. Now we've got go to the Flavio Cope's website. And if I click on here, there I am. Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about what's good about this and what's bad about this. What's good about this is when you look in here, it doesn't say click here. I'm letting the user know where they're going to go when they click it. Now, if you look way down in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, when I put my mouse here, it's showing where this is supposed to go. That said, it's possible to spoof and make you think you're going to one website when you're really going to another. All right. So the good thing about this is it actually shows where you're going. It doesn't just say like click here. All right. So that's kind of the good with this. The bad, you may or may not have noticed, is, let me close some of this. All right, so there's my MDN. There's the one I've got open right here. When I go right here and click, you'll notice what it does is it opens it right in the window that I currently was in. That's bad practice. So what I should do is here, when I put all this stuff in here, is I should add here, let me just add it right here so you can see it all, target equals, not target equals underscore blank. And that will open it up into a new window. So as you'll see now when I come back to here and I refresh, notice I've got this right here, but when I click, it's opened up a second tab. Just get used to always doing that. Why? Because it's the right way to do things. All right. You can put images in link tags. Let's just do that quickly. All right. So let's come in here and let's add another paragraph. All right. And we've got this image equal test. We don't have any of that stuff. But let's say in here, go to the, and I'm going to add this. Like that, and I'm going to put in here rankin.edu, and here I'm going to put in Rankin Technical College website. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. All right, but we don't have a picture, so let's go out here and let's go out to images at google.com, And I'm going to type in here Rankin Technical College. Let's just grab a picture. Kind of like this one. So I'm going to right mouse click on that. I could copy the image address. I'm just going to save the image. And I'm going to tell it to save it in test images. And I'm just going to call it, so it'll be called rankin.jpg. Okay, so there that is. Now it might come out and be a really big size where we'd have to fix that with CSS. I don't care. All right. So over here under the image, didn't really want that. I don't know what this is going to look like, but we'll see. So images / rankin.jpg. All right, so let's save and look at that. Go to the Rankin Technical College website. So I can click here or I can click here. And you'll notice I go out to Rankin's site. Now, again, I should have come in here and put in target equals blank. Okay. So it opened in a new window. So I can click here to go to it, or I can click on the image to go to it. All right, and you saw that. Now when I refresh, so I can click here, and it will open it up, or it should open it up in a new window, although it doesn't look like it did. So let's look at that. Target equals, it's because it's underscore blank. All right, so let's look at that. And again, we will go back and we will refresh. So you'll notice it opened it up there in a new window. I can also click right on the image to do the same thing. Now with the image, it did not open it up in a new window, so I'd have to go take a look at that. I don't really care. All right, I'm just trying to throw a few things, or a lot of things at you right now. All right, container tags and page structure, article, section, and div. All right, I'm going to jump back into our old friends here. W3 schools web page layout. I don't know if that's the one I want to show you or not. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now this is just an example. All right. So we would have up here, this would be a header section. This would be a nav section. This would be a footer section. This here and this here would probably both be what are called asides. And this would be a section. Now, as we look at this, a header is usually located at the top of the website or right below a top navigation menu. It often contains a logo or the website name. The navigation bar typically goes into the nav section, and you'll get something that looks like this. The content, it depends on how you want to set this up. So you'll notice they've got a 1-column, a 2-column, and a 3-column layout. And there are different ways that you can do this. Now notice with the 3-column layout, they've set the width of each column to 1/3. You don't have to do that. You could have the one in the middle could be 50%, and the one on each side could be 25%, for example. All right. And they've got some responsiveness, and you can see what happens in here. All right. So again, here's where they've got 25 and 50, and you see the differences. The footer, as it says, is placed on the bottom of your page. I think what I actually wanted in here was W3 schools semantic tags. That's the one I wanted. All right. So it says in HTML there are some semantic tags that can be used to define different parts of a web page. I'm not going to read these to you. This is often how it's done. There's no set procedure to doing this. In other words, Some people will have sections with articles in them. All right. Some people will have sections and articles, and they'll be in different parts of the document. All right. But if you go through this, which is right here, make that bigger, and let me just go out to here. So if you go out to w3schools.com/html/html5 semantic elements.asp, you're going to find this, and it's going to explain in here, give you an explanation of everything that's in here. I'm not going to do that right now. That's not my intention. All right. They explain 3 of them here, and they say the article defines a thing that can be independent from other things on a page. It says, for example, a list of blog posts on a home page or a list of links. A section is a section of a document. Each section typically has a heading tag and a body. It's useful to break a long article up into sections. And a div tag. Well, the div is the generic. It's the division tag. All right, that we typically use to break things up, period. Before the days where we had these semantic tags that really came with the advent of HTML5, before we had those, we used divs basically to separate everything. The nav, again, is used for navigation. And aside, the way that I've always had this said to me was the aside is something that could be tangential. And what I've done, just to show you this quickly, let's see. I'm originally from Milwaukee, so I still get the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. So if I go out to JS Online, all right, they've changed around the way they've done this. So let's see if I go back to the main page. All right. And I go down to here, let's see. Yeah, it's changed so much. But it used to be, for example, that maybe, okay, so right here, all right, so right here we've got a picture. All right, and it's got GOP candidates warm up to paid family leave, etc. What if you grabbed one of these candidates? And this is Rebecca Clayfish, who's the former lieutenant governor, who's now running for governor. Let's say that over here we had an article on her, right over here. That would be an aside. So here's the picture and here's the main article, but if we grab something that really can stand on its own, but is semi-related at least to what we're talking about here, that would be an aside. All right. The header, as it says, typically it's the part that's the introduction. And there's no hard and fast rules on this. The main tag. Typically what people do is, other than their footer, their header and their footer, they put all the main content in the main tag. Not everybody does that. The footer is at the bottom of the page. All right. And that's, I think at least that's enough of that. So let's jump into forms. As it says, forms are a way you can interact with a web page. So I'm going to create a very simplistic little form and try to go over the stuff that's in here. I won't hit everything, I'm sure. All right, but I'm going to come in here. Again, whoops. Again, I'm going to grab everything that I had in here, and I'm going to comment it out. So let me grab these. All right, so I still have that first paragraph that I really don't need in here anymore. So let's do that as well here. All right, so, and I've got the P tag still in there, so. Let's see now if my page is empty. Yeah, good. All right, so we're going to come in here. The other thing I'm going to do is I am going to make, just so you can read it. So the background is salmon. So let's just put the color for white for all my text. All right. And I also like Arial. So I'll choose that font family. And finally, let's make the font size where we can see it. All right. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a very, very simplistic little form down here. All right. So form, typically when you've got a form, if you want it to go someplace, all right, you'll put that in there, but we're not having it go anywhere. But we'll put in here method equal, get, oftentimes it's capitalized. And we'll just put this in. I'm going to put in a couple real simplistic little things. So let's put in two fields and then a button. So I'm going to put in here a label, and I'm going to put in 4 equals, and I'll put in first name, and then I will put in an input type equal text. Name equal first name, ID equal first name, and that'll be that. That'll be that. Let's put in a line break here. I'm not worrying about CSS right now. That's why I'm doing it like this. And then we'll have a last name. Like that. And again, we'll have last name. And finally, we'll have, in fact, we'll put in a couple more BR tags here. And we'll have an input type equals, and we'll put in here submit. Submit form. Okay, I'm probably missing something, but we'll see real quick. All right. So there it is. And we've got submit form here. I don't want that. So with that button, equals submit. Label. These, I believe, don't have an end tag. Let's put this. We'll put it in like this. Button type equals submit. Submit form. Button. I think that's going to give me what I want. There we go. So it's not a pretty form, but it's a functional form. Okay? All right. There's all sorts of ways that we can improve upon this. I'm not going to go into any of those. Typically up here you will have either get or you'll have post. All right? Get, basically, you will put in there, in fact, in here I probably would have wanted post. If I'm going to send information out to a website or to a server someplace, I'll put in post. All right. And then I will put in here, there's more than just a method. We'll get into that in just a bit. But this is my label. All right. And you'll notice that since I put in 4 equal first name here, that if I click on the label, it'll immediately put me inside of that input box. Same thing with the other one. Then I've got a submit button, and I can make another one here. So let me put in here BSP, and let's put in 3 of those. And I'm going to grab this button that's right down here. And I'm going to change that. I don't like submit form. I just like submit is fine. And this one is going to say reset. Okay. There you go. So if I come through here and I put in something and I click reset, you can see what happens. If I come through here and I type in submit, it isn't working because I didn't tell it to send it any place. All right. But what I'm trying to show you in here is forms, all right, are in between form tags. Forms typically consist of labels and then some kinds of input fields in here. We could have put a lot more stuff in here. We could have had address, city, state, zip, etc. All right. Now, what's going to end up being important? When we went through the AWD1000 class, we worked with IDs all the time. Now, when we work on the server side, we're going to be working with this name field. It is not mandatory that these two fields, ID and name be the same. Most oftentimes they are. There are times they can't be, but I don't want to talk about that right now. All right, so am I missing anything? Let's see. So I'm going to jump back into here, and we're going to quickly look through and see if I missed anything. So form method equal post. When you are submitting a form, the method should be post. All right. And then you have to say where you want it to go to. So I didn't put in the action here. All right. Now, this will be stupid, but for instance, if I do come in here and I put in something like this. So method equal post, action equals https://rankin.edu. All right. So if I come through here now and look at this again, not sure why that's not working, but it's not. So we'll get it to work in a second. So let's open this with live server. There we go. So if I do come in here and I put in Jeff and I put in Scott and I click submit, all right, I am going out there, but that's not what I'd want to do. All right, unless I wanted to actually submit something to a Rankin server. All I'm trying to show you here is typically if you do want this to go someplace, you've got an action attribute that you add. Okay, all righty. Data is provided using a set of controls. I just used the input box. We could have text areas, selects. We've looked at all this stuff before. So here was the input tag. Would have been much easier probably if I'd have done it like this. Now they show the ending thing in there. Really isn't necessary. All right. So in other words, if I come back here, it's totally fine, totally legit for me to come back and let's see, for the input type right here, I can put in a slash right there, and I can put in a slash right there. All right, let's add a little bit more to this. So we're going to put in here email, ADDR, for email address. All right, we'll make this then, of course, email. And this will be email as well. So will this. But the key thing here is there is some built-in HTML5 validation here. I don't want this to be text. I want this to be email. Why is that important? I'm going to show you right now. All right, so let's change this so we don't need all those anymore. Okay. So there's our email, got to fix that. But the point is, if I put in something that's not an email and I submit, I'll get the error message. That's a good thing. All right, let me pretty that up a little bit. So get rid of. Last name. Oh, that's that one there. There we go. So that should have prettied that back. There we go. All right. There's other fields that we can put in there with other things. So for instance, I can come through here and I can add one that's a number field. And I could put in here salary. All right. And then this could be type number. And again, this would be salary. And so with this, and again, I don't need all these anymore. All right, so you can see what we're doing here. and you'll notice I get that allows me to put in numbers. All right. So I showed you the email. Password should be obvious. Numbers, hidden fields we'll talk about in just a minute. Let's change that one to password. I like that a little bit better. So this will be type. That should have said salary, that's why. But we'll put in here password, and we'll make this password, and we'll make this password. And this will be password. This will be password. And remember that when we're doing this, all right, when we're doing this, this is the type of field. This is the name of the field. These are two different things. All right, so we've got this. Now with the password, notice if I start typing, I get the dots. All right. Guess I didn't need the word "the" in there. Looks a little bit better. Yeah, I'd have to actually force this. I can't use these spaces, so I could ampersand NBSP, ampersand NBSP. So I could put that in there. See if that makes it look a little nicer. There we go. All right, so I'm creating a form before your very eyes. There are hidden fields, and the reason that you might want a field to be hidden from the user is they have no reason to see it, and you wouldn't typically allow them to change it. One I use in here is like if I was writing a form, let's say for a user for a pizza place, I might want to put the tax rate or something like that in there in a hidden field. All right, you can set default values in here. All right, we've talked about the submit, and I've shown you a little bit of validation. All right, so as far as setting fields as required, and we're probably bumping up, yeah, I don't want to go too much longer in here, but for setting these things, I could come back in here, oops, and I could say that, try that again, there we go. All these fields, for example, are required. So in here, I could add required. I can add that onto each one of these. Just add this onto every field that we've got. And when I say every field, I don't mean the labels, but I mean every other field. So, all right, save that, come back and look at this again. Now notice if I leave something off, please fill out this field. All right, so I can come in there and I can put in Jeff. So I've got all that in there. All right, but it still says, please fill out this field. Now, submit. And again, it's going to Rankin, which is foolish, but you get the idea, hopefully. All right. Yeah, you can force formats. You can use patterns in here. So this would say that this field has to be 8 characters, upper or lowercase for the username. I'm not going to go through file uploads, but you can put that in there. Buttons I've talked about. Radio buttons, you probably have seen these before, so let's just put this in. We'll grab 2 of them here. And let's see. Let's put that right up here. And type equal radio. Let's say for here, gender. And here we'll put in female. Spell it right. And we'll put in gender again here. And this time we'll put in male. Save that. Bring this up again. Whoops. Bring this up again in live server. And there's our, whoops. Oh, that didn't work very well, did it? Let's check that out. Oh, That should come down here. All right, gender value equal male. I think we have to actually say female here and male. Male. All right, probably can put a label in there too, but let's just leave it the way it is. All right, female, male. There we go. So let's go before this. We won't even put in a label, but we'll just come in here and we'll say here gender. Now let's put in a, not a p tag. We can put in a label. For equals gender. Gender. Okay, so we've got the male and the female. Again, we would want a line break there. So there we got that. Again, I can push this over. There's a lot of stuff we can do to improve this. So as mentioned previously, I could come back in there just as we did here. I could come in there and add, maybe that's too much, something like that. And you can see it now. Maybe I did need another one. This is a bad way of doing it. I should be doing that with CSS. But now it looks pretty decent. All right. Check boxes, and hopefully those are, let's just look at these. We'll grab these. That's fine. We're going to put in here before this. We'll put in here again. Oops. Let's put in another label. Whoops, I goofed that up, didn't I? So here we'll call shift, and we'll call this shift desired. It's going to probably look a little funky, but that's okay. This will be a checkbox, name equals shift, and the value will be first, and we'll put, I don't know, 6 to 2, something like that. This will again be shift. The value will be second, 2 to 10, and we'll have one more. And this will be third, and the value will be 10 to 6. And you should already remember this. Shift desired, well, I guess I didn't do it right, but again, I need a BR tag here. Oops. That's the value. We'll put it in here. One. 2 and 3. I think that's right. There you go. First, second, third. I got to get rid of that. But the difference again with these, with radio buttons, if I check one, the other one, only one can be checked at a time. Whereas with shift desired here, since it's checkboxes, I can check 0 of them, 1 of them, 2 of them, or all 3 of them. Okay. And again, I could put BR tags here if we wanted to. All right. Again, I'm just trying to run through and hit a bunch of the high points here. Date and time are just that for date and time fields. Color picker, if we wanted, ask somebody their favorite color, etc., we could do that. Ranges. Ranges are often used, as it says, with slider elements. So earlier where I put down that salary, maybe I have a scale where I'd say like minimum 30,000, maximum 100,000 or something like that. All right. Phone numbers, you can put that in here. Let's grab that. And we're going to put in here phone. And we'll just change this to cell phone. All right. And name, here we've got type equals tel. And name equals, we could just put in here phone. All right. And you'll notice that when we do that, it's going to look like, or is it? There it is, right there, cell phone. Of course, I didn't put in the line break afterwards. Now, one thing about using this, and they show it right afterward, typically you're going to want to put in some kind of a pattern. This would say 3 digits, a dash, 3 digits, or 8 digits. Well, I'm going to change this. All right. And just set it up so that literally we have put in some kind of a pattern in here for this. So let's see. Grab that. And I will leave the BR tag. So input type equal tel, pattern equals 0 to 9, 3, 0 to 9, 3, 0 to 9, 4. So that would say I want 3 digits, a dash, 3 digits, a dash, and 4 digits. Again, this would be called phone. All right, that should look a little nicer now, and you can see that it does. But if I do come in here, so I think I made all these required, so let's put all that in there. All right. You'll notice if I submit, it says please match the requested format because it wants 3 digits, a hyphen, 3 digits, and a hyphen. And now everything works. All right, and again, as you can see, I'm going off onto Rankin's site. All right. This is going again a little longer than I'd planned on, but that's fine. The URL, to insert a URL, the text area. All right, and basically that's if you want to put in comments. All right, so let's grab that. And after the phone, let's put in another label. Type equals, 4 equals, put in here comments. All right. And we'll end our label. Oops. Guess that goes out here. All right, now if I come in here and I got to grab that again. Oops. I'll fix this in a moment. Copy. And again, we will need here a BR tag. And also we need one here. Yep, we got one there. All right, so comments, text area, and we can again put in here, oops, ID equals comments, name equals comments, and what do we have now? So there's that. All right, somehow I've screwed that up, so let's fix that. Rows is 20. Let's just make rows 5, and let's make the columns 25. See, that looks a little nicer, and there you go. So that's comments. Input. Got all that stuff in there, so I must not be ending that. So, oops. Let's end our text area. There, we are ending it though. Text area rows equal 5, columns equal this. Text area. Why I'm getting all that stuff at the end. Comments, label, text area. Because it's putting all of this stuff in there. I don't know why. Let's just get rid of all this. That shouldn't be causing any kind of harm. Columns of 25. Oh, something is goofed up there, and I'm not sure what. I'd have to go back and take a look. I don't want to waste your time while you watch me type. So let's finish this part up. The select tag. All right. Let's grab all of this. Normally I'd use it for something like state, where you'd have the options, but that'd be 50 lines we'd be putting in there. That's kind of a waste of time. So let's put in this, and we're going to just put in there something very similar to what we just saw, and that is, I'm going to come in here and say label 4 equals fav color, and it's going to say favorite color, and we'll put that in, and we'll put in red, yellow, green, and blue. I'm just going to keep it simple. So red, yellow, green, and blue. All right, I'm going to save this. When I get done with that, I will need another BR tag. And if we make our way down here, why is it doing that? It is, I bet you it's put it down here, didn't it? Well, somehow I have screwed up this text area, so I'm going to comment out that line. Just that line. No, that's my yeah, that's the phone number. So let's comment out this whole thing for comments. And we'll do it right there to right there. And let's see if the other one works now. There we go. So red, yellow, green, favorite color, so the label must be commented out as well. It is. So there we go. There's a drop down. All right, I'm just about finished, which is good because I'm already over at my time. All right, so that gets us up to tables. So I'll finish that up and hopefully finish up this discussion in just a few minutes.